For years, people had argued about it. Boxers argued. Martial artists argued. Fans argued. Gyms argued. Bars argued. Everybody had an opinion. But nobody had ever dared to put the two men in the same room and ask them directly. Until that night. Johnny Carson looked across his desk. On one side sat Muhammad Ali, the heavyweight champion, the man who had made an entire generation believe that confidence itself could be a weapon. And on the other side, Bruce Lee, the man who had made people question everything they thought they knew about speed, movement, and combat. The audience was already screaming. Ali was smiling. Bruce was calm. Carson looked at them both. Then he leaned toward his microphone and said 6 words that instantly changed the atmosphere. "Which one of you would win?" The audience exploded. Ali laughed. Bruce didn't. Carson looked around the studio. "Come on," he said. "America wants to know." The cheering grew louder. "Boxing." He pointed toward Ali. "Or Kung Fu." Then he pointed toward Bruce. "Which one wins?" Ali leaned back in his chair. He looked at Bruce. Bruce looked at Ali. And for several seconds, nothing happened. No joke. No smile. No clever response. Just two men studying each other. Carson's smile slowly disappeared. Because something had changed. This wasn't television anymore. At least, not entirely. Ali finally reached for the microphone. "Johnny." The crowd quieted. Ali looked at Bruce. "This man is fast." The audience laughed. Bruce smiled. Ali continued. "Very fast." More laughter. Then Ali leaned forward. "But speed." He paused. "Doesn't scare me." The audience erupted. Bruce's smile remained. But his eyes changed. Carson noticed. Ali noticed. Bruce slowly reached for his microphone. He waited. Then said, "Good." Carson raised his eyebrows. "Good." Bruce nodded. "Because if speed scared you." He looked directly at Ali. This would be a very short conversation. The audience went insane. Ali threw his head back laughing. Carson nearly fell out of his chair. But then Ali suddenly stopped. He stared at Bruce and smiled. Not because the joke was funny. Because he respected the confidence. "Okay," Ali said. He pointed at Bruce. "I like him." The audience laughed. Ali leaned closer. "But..." His smile disappeared. "I still think I can beat him." The studio exploded. Bruce didn't react. He simply asked, "Under what rules?" Silence. Ali blinked. Carson leaned forward. The audience stopped laughing. Ali smiled again. "Boxing rules." Bruce nodded. "Then you have an advantage." Ali laughed. "An advantage?" Bruce nodded. "Yes." Ali pointed at himself. "You're telling me I have an advantage." Bruce answered calmly. "You've spent your entire life mastering boxing." Ali nodded. Bruce continued. "I haven't." The crowd roared. Ali laughed. Carson slapped the desk. But Bruce wasn't finished. "If I enter your ring..." He paused. "I'm entering your world." Ali smiled. "And if I enter yours?" Bruce looked at him. "You'd have to learn a different language." The audience erupted. Ali stood up halfway. "Johnny." He pointed at Bruce. "This little dragon is trying to teach me how to fight." Carson laughed. Bruce smiled. But Ali sat down again. And suddenly, the joking stopped. Because underneath the laughter was something most people didn't understand. Muhammad Ali and Bruce Lee were separated by more than boxing and martial arts. They were separated by philosophy. Ali understood combat through rhythm. He could make a man chase him. He could make a man angry. He could make a man miss. And while his opponent was trying to figure out where Ali had gone, Ali was already preparing the next move. He didn't simply fight bodies. He fought minds. Bruce Lee approached combat differently. He wanted to remove everything unnecessary. No wasted movement. No unnecessary motion. No technique simply because tradition said it belonged there. Bruce wanted speed, timing, distance, reaction, adaptation. He wasn't interested in asking, "What style are you?" He was interested in asking, "What happens when your style stops working?" That was why this question was so dangerous. Because Ali had spent his career becoming unpredictable inside the ring. Bruce had spent his life questioning the boundaries of the ring itself. And now they were sitting 3 feet apart, under television lights, with millions of imaginary viewers waiting for one answer. Who wins? Carson wasn't satisfied. He leaned toward Bruce. "Let me make this easier." Bruce looked at him. "If Ali hits you first." The audience reacted. Ali smiled. Carson continued. "What happens?" Bruce looked at Ali. Ali raised his eyebrows. Bruce waited. 1 second. 2. 3. Then Bruce said, "If he hits me first." He paused. "I made a mistake." The audience exploded. Ali laughed. But Bruce remained completely serious. Carson stared at him. "You really believe that?" Bruce nodded. "Yes." Ali leaned toward the microphone. "I like that answer." Bruce looked at him. Ali continued, "Because it means he understands something." Carson asked, "What?" Ali pointed toward Bruce. "One mistake." He paused. "Can end everything." Bruce nodded. "Exactly." Ali smiled. "But you think you won't make one?" Bruce shook his head. "No." Ali laughed. Bruce continued, "I think I will try not to." The audience applauded. Ali nodded. "That's honest." Then Carson asked, "Bruce." He leaned closer. "What scares you about Muhammad Ali?" The room went silent. That was the question. Not who would win. Not who was stronger. Not who was faster. What scared Bruce Lee? Bruce looked at Ali. He didn't answer immediately. Finally he said, "Nothing." The crowd reacted. Ali smiled. Bruce continued, "But I respect his experience." Ali nodded. "His timing." Ali's smile grew. "His ability to make an opponent fight emotionally." Ali stopped smiling. And then Bruce added, "And his confidence." The audience laughed. Carson looked at Ali. "Well, Muhammad." Ali shook his head. "Don't say it, Johnny." The audience laughed. Carson smiled. "You've just been complimented." Ali pointed at Bruce. "No." He shook his head. "He's warning me." The laughter faded. Bruce didn't deny it. Ali leaned closer. "You know what I think." Bruce waited. "I think you're dangerous." Bruce nodded. "So are you." Ali laughed. "But I'm dangerous in a ring." Bruce answered. And I'm dangerous when the ring disappears. The studio erupted. Carson froze. Ali stared at Bruce. For a moment, neither man smiled. Then Ali slowly nodded. Now, he pointed toward Bruce. That's the answer I was waiting for. Carson looked between them. What does that mean? Ali didn't look at Carson. He kept his eyes on Bruce. It means... Ali paused. He doesn't want to fight me at boxing. Bruce finally spoke. No. Ali smiled. Then where? Bruce looked at him. That's the wrong question. Ali's eyebrows rose. What is the right question? Bruce leaned toward the microphone and spoke slowly. The right question, he paused, is whether either of us would still be the same fighter. Another pause. If we couldn't choose the battlefield. Silence. Absolute silence. Even Carson had stopped smiling. Ali sat back. He thought about it. Then he laughed softly. Johnny. Carson looked at him. I think you just got yourself into trouble. Carson laughed nervously. Why? Ali pointed toward Bruce. Because now. He paused. I actually want to know. Bruce looked at him. Ali looked back. And the audience could feel it. Something had changed. This wasn't about television anymore. It was about curiosity, respect, competition. Two legends had discovered a question neither one could easily dismiss. Carson tried one last time to bring the conversation back under control. So, he looked at Ali. Let's settle it. Ali nodded. Carson looked at Bruce. Who wins? Bruce remained silent. Ali waited. The audience waited. Carson waited. Bruce finally spoke. Muhammad Ali. Ali looked at him. Is a better boxer than I am. The audience gasped. Carson's eyebrows shot upward. Ali nodded slowly. Bruce continued. If the question is boxing. He paused. I would be foolish to say otherwise. Ali smiled. For a moment, it seemed like Bruce had given him the answer. Then Bruce added one word. But. The studio went silent. Ali's smile disappeared. Bruce looked directly into his eyes. But fighting. He paused. Is bigger than boxing. The audience erupted. Ali leaned forward. Carson looked stunned. Bruce continued. So if you're asking me. He stopped. The cameras moved closer. Who would win a fight? Another pause. Bruce looked at Ali. Ali looked at Bruce. And Bruce said, I wouldn't answer that. Carson interrupted. Why? Bruce smiled. Because the answer would depend on what happens after the first move. Ali nodded. Then he leaned toward Bruce. Then let's make one thing clear. Bruce waited. Ali's voice became quieter. If you ever step into my ring. He paused. You better be ready. The audience exploded. Bruce smiled. I always am. Ali shook his head. No. He pointed at Bruce. You don't understand. The room became silent. Ali leaned closer. You've never been in there with me. Bruce looked directly at him. Then came the sentence nobody expected. Neither have you. Silence. Carson's eyes widened. Ali froze for a moment. Then slowly. He smiled. Not a television smile. Not a comedian's smile. The smile of a fighter who had just been challenged. He leaned back, nodded, and whispered, Now we're talking. The audience erupted. Carson looked into the camera. He knew it. The question had worked. But he also knew something else. America hadn't gotten its answer. Instead, it had gotten something much more dangerous. A possibility. A fight that never happened. A matchup that history never gave the world. Muhammad Ali against Bruce Lee. The greatest boxer of his generation. Against the man who refused to believe fighting should belong to one style. And as the cameras pulled back, Ali looked at Bruce one more time. Bruce looked back. Neither man blinked. Neither man laughed. And somewhere beneath the applause, one question remained. If Muhammad Ali couldn't force Bruce Lee to fight his fight, and Bruce Lee couldn't force Ali to abandon his greatest weapon, what would happen when the two finally met in the middle? Because the next question Johnny Carson was about to ask would force both legends to imagine the impossible. And this time, Muhammad Ali wouldn't answer with a joke. The audience was still roaring. But Johnny Carson wasn't laughing anymore. He had seen something change between the two men. A few minutes earlier, Muhammad Ali and Bruce Lee had been entertaining the crowd. Now they were doing something else. They were imagining a fight that had never happened. A fight that probably never could have happened. But once the idea entered the room, it became impossible to remove. Carson leaned toward his desk. All right. He looked at Ali. You said the ring is your home. Ali nodded. It is. Carson turned toward Bruce. And you said the rules matter. Bruce nodded. Yes. Carson smiled. Then let's make this simple. He looked between them. Suppose I put the two of you in a ring tomorrow. The audience erupted. Ali smiled. Bruce remained calm. Carson continued. No cameras. The crowd became quieter. No jokes. Ali leaned forward. No audience. Bruce's eyes narrowed slightly. And no one gets to walk away until the question is answered. The room exploded. Ali laughed. Bruce smiled. Carson raised his hands. I'm only asking. Ali pointed toward Bruce. I'd show up. Bruce nodded. So would I. The crowd erupted again. Carson stared at them. Really? Ali answered instantly. Absolutely. Bruce simply nodded. And that was when Carson realized something. Neither man was imagining the fight anymore. They were imagining the possibility of it. Ali leaned toward Bruce. Let's say it's a boxing match. Bruce nodded. Ali continued. You can't kick. Bruce nodded. You can't grab. Bruce nodded. You can't use anything except your hands. Bruce smiled. And you can't run. The audience screamed. Ali laughed. Run. He slapped the desk. Johnny, did you hear that? Carson was laughing. Ali looked at Bruce. You think I'd run? Bruce shook his head. No. Ali smiled. Good. Bruce continued. I think you'd chase. The laughter stopped. Ali stared at him. Bruce explained. That's different. Ali leaned back. For a moment he said nothing. Then he smiled. Maybe. Carson jumped in. So you're saying Ali would chase you? Bruce answered. If he wanted to win. Ali shook his head. You know what? Bruce waited. You think too much. Bruce smiled. And you talk too much. The audience exploded. Ali pointed at him. That's how I win, Bruce replied. That's how you make people think you're winning. The room went silent. Ali's expression changed. Carson looked at Bruce. Bruce hadn't raised his voice. He hadn't insulted Ali. But somehow the sentence had landed harder than a punch. Ali slowly nodded. I see. Then he smiled. Okay. He leaned forward. Let's say you're in my ring. Bruce nodded. Ali continued. You're fast. Bruce said nothing. You move. Bruce remained silent. You try to confuse me. Bruce watched him. But eventually, Ali pointed toward the floor. You have to stand somewhere. Bruce smiled. Not necessarily. Ali laughed. Carson looked confused. What does that mean? Bruce answered. It means distance is part of the fight. Ali nodded. Sure. Bruce continued. If I control the distance. He paused. I control when the fight happens. Ali's eyes narrowed. That's your theory. Bruce nodded. No. He looked directly at Ali. That's the problem you would have to solve. The audience erupted. Ali laughed. But his eyes stayed on Bruce. Carson could feel the tension rising. So he pushed harder. Let's say Bruce gets inside Ali's reach. Ali nodded. Okay. Carson looked at Bruce. What happens? Bruce answered. I adapt. Ali laughed. That's a beautiful word. Bruce looked at him. Ali continued. Adapt. He shook his head. Everybody says that until somebody hits them. The audience laughed. Bruce smiled. That is true. Ali nodded. So, Bruce leaned toward the microphone. Then I don't let you hit me. The studio exploded. Ali stood up. Johnny. Carson laughed. Ali pointed at Bruce. He's talking too much now. Bruce laughed. Ali sat down again. But Carson noticed something. Ali wasn't dismissing Bruce. He was testing him. Every answer Bruce gave created another question. Every question Ali asked revealed another part of his own thinking. It was almost like watching two chess players sitting across from each other. Except their pieces were fists. And the board was a human body. Carson turned toward Ali. Let me ask you something. Ali nodded. If Bruce somehow gets close. Carson paused. Would you be worried about his speed? Ali thought for a moment. Then said, I'd be worried about his timing. Bruce looked at him. Ali continued. Speed is one thing. He raised one finger. But timing. He raised another. That's different. Bruce nodded. Ali looked at him. A fast man can still be predictable. Bruce smiled. A slow man can still be dangerous. Ali nodded. Exactly. Carson looked between them. So you agree? Ali smiled. We agree on almost everything. Bruce laughed. Except who wins. Ali laughed. That's the important part. The audience erupted. Carson wasn't finished. He leaned closer. What if the fight wasn't in a boxing ring? Ali shrugged. Then I find somewhere I can fight. Bruce smiled. What if there are no ropes? Ali laughed. Then I don't need ropes. Bruce nodded. What if there's no bell? Ali smiled. Then nobody tells me when to stop. The crowd roared. Carson turned toward Bruce. What if there are no rules? Bruce became completely serious. The smile disappeared from his face. Ali noticed. The audience noticed. Carson noticed. Bruce waited several seconds. Then he said, "Then the first thing that disappears." He paused. "Is the illusion that you control the fight." Silence. Ali leaned forward. "What illusion?" Bruce looked directly at him. "That either of us knows exactly what will happen." Ali nodded slowly. Then he smiled. "Now," he pointed at Bruce, "that's something I can agree with." Carson looked at the audience. "Ladies and gentlemen." He spread his hands. "I think we're getting dangerously close to an actual fight." The crowd erupted. Ali laughed. Bruce smiled. But neither man looked away from the other. Then Carson asked the question that changed the entire conversation. "Bruce." Bruce looked at him. "If Ali came toward you." Carson paused. "What would you do first?" Bruce thought. The studio became silent. He didn't answer quickly. He looked at Ali. Then at Carson. Then at the floor. Finally, "I wouldn't attack first." The audience reacted. Ali raised his eyebrows. "Why?" Bruce answered. "Because I would want to see what he does." Ali smiled. "You'd wait." Bruce nodded. "Long enough." Ali leaned back. "You know what happens when you wait too long?" Bruce asked. "What?" Ali smiled. "I hit you." The audience exploded. Bruce laughed. "Maybe." Ali pointed at him. "Not maybe." Bruce looked at him. "Then I'd learn something." Ali stopped smiling. "What?" Bruce answered. "How you move when you think you've already won." The room went silent. Ali stared at him. That sentence had gone somewhere deeper. Because Ali understood psychological warfare better than almost anyone. Bruce had just described it back to him. Carson whispered, "Wow." The audience applauded. Ali slowly nodded. "You know." He looked at Bruce. "You really do think differently." Bruce smiled. "So do you." Ali laughed. "That's why this is interesting." Carson leaned back. "Then let's say the fight actually happens." Ali nodded. Bruce listened. First round. The crowd erupted. Carson continued. Ali walks forward. Bruce stays outside. Ali tries to close the distance. Bruce moves. Ali cuts him off. Bruce moves again. Ali pressures him. Bruce changes direction. Carson looked at Ali. "Who has the advantage?" Ali smiled. "Me." Bruce smiled. "Maybe." Carson looked at Bruce. "Why maybe?" Bruce answered. "Because the first minute doesn't tell you who will win." Ali nodded. "That's true." Bruce continued. "It tells you who is learning faster." Ali's expression changed. Carson leaned forward. "Learning faster." Bruce nodded. "Yes." Ali smiled. "Now we're getting somewhere." Ali suddenly leaned closer to Bruce. "Okay." Bruce waited. "Let's forget the ring." The audience became quiet. Ali continued. "Forget boxing." Bruce listened. "Forget kung fu." Bruce nodded. "Forget styles." Another pause. Ali looked directly into Bruce's eyes. "Just you." He pointed toward Bruce. "And me." Then he pointed toward himself. "No rules." The audience erupted. Carson's mouth opened. Bruce didn't move. Ali waited. What do you do? The room became completely silent. Bruce finally leaned toward his microphone. His answer came softly. I don't fight you. Ali frowned. What? Bruce repeated. I don't fight you. Ali looked confused. Carson leaned forward. Then what do you do? Bruce looked at Ali. I fight the problem. Silence. Ali stared at him. Bruce continued. And you? He paused. Are the problem. The audience exploded. Ali laughed. But then he slowly nodded. That, he said quietly, was a good answer. Carson smiled. Does that mean you respect him? Ali didn't answer immediately. He looked at Bruce, then said, Yes. The audience applauded. But Carson wasn't satisfied. Would you still fight him? Ali smiled. Oh, absolutely. The crowd erupted. Bruce laughed. Ali pointed toward him. Respect doesn't mean surrender. Bruce nodded. Agreed. The conversation had now become something nobody expected. There was no hatred, no insult, no real hostility. There was something much more dangerous. Curiosity. Each man wanted to understand the other. Ali wanted to know how Bruce would respond when his speed met pressure. Bruce wanted to know how Ali would respond when his rhythm was disrupted. And Johnny Carson had placed that curiosity directly under the brightest lights in television. Then Carson asked, So? He looked at both men. After everything you've said tonight. He paused. Who wins? Ali smiled. Bruce stayed silent. Carson looked at Bruce. Bruce. Bruce looked at Ali. Then he said, If we fight in his ring. He paused. Muhammad Ali has the advantage. Ali nodded. Bruce continued. But if the question is who is the better fighter? Another pause. I don't think a television answer can decide that. Carson smiled. Then what can? Bruce looked at Ali. The fight. The audience erupted. Ali stood up. He extended his hand. Bruce stood. For a moment, they simply looked at each other. Then Ali reached out. Bruce took his hand. The audience went wild. But just before they separated, Ali leaned toward Bruce and whispered something. The cameras couldn't hear it. Carson couldn't hear it. The audience couldn't hear it. But Bruce's expression changed. His smile disappeared. He looked at Ali. Ali smiled, then sat down. Carson immediately noticed. Wait. He looked at Ali. What did you just tell him? Ali laughed. Nothing. Carson looked at Bruce. Bruce. Bruce shook his head. It's between us. The audience erupted. Carson protested. Oh, come on. Ali laughed. Bruce smiled again. But the mystery remained. What had Muhammad Ali whispered? And why had Bruce suddenly become serious? The cameras pulled back. The audience continued cheering. But Ali and Bruce were no longer looking at Carson. They were looking at each other. And whatever Ali had whispered, it had changed the way Bruce was thinking. Because the next question Carson asked would finally force Bruce to imagine the fight without rules, without a ring, and without the protection of either man's specialty. And this time, Bruce Lee would have to answer one question he had avoided all night. If Muhammad Ali came at you first, what would you do? And the answer would leave the entire studio silent. The studio was still buzzing. But Bruce Lee wasn't smiling anymore. Neither was Muhammad Ali. Johnny Carson looked from one man to the other. A few seconds earlier, the audience had been laughing. Now nobody seemed willing to make a sound. Carson leaned forward. "All right." He looked at Bruce. "You've talked about distance." He looked at Ali. "You've talked about pressure." Then he looked back at Bruce. "But there's one thing we still haven't settled." The audience became quiet. Carson smiled. "The first move." Ali leaned back. Bruce remained completely still. Carson continued. "If Muhammad Ali came toward you first." He paused. "What would you do?" Silence. Bruce looked at Ali. Ali looked back. The cameras moved closer. Bruce finally reached for the microphone. "I wouldn't try to beat Muhammad Ali at being Muhammad Ali." The audience murmured. Ali's eyebrows rose. Bruce continued. "I wouldn't try to outbox him." A few people nodded. "I wouldn't try to prove I could hit harder." Ali smiled. "And I wouldn't try to become faster than him." The audience became completely silent. Bruce leaned closer. "I would try to become difficult to understand." Ali's smile disappeared. Carson stared at him. "What does that mean?" Bruce answered. "It means—" He paused. "I wouldn't give him the fight he expects." Ali slowly nodded. Now he understood. Bruce wasn't talking about a technique. He was talking about unpredictability. Carson turned toward Ali. "Muhammad." Ali looked at Bruce. Then smiled. "You know what?" Bruce waited. "I think that's exactly what I do too." The audience erupted. Carson laughed. "So you're both saying the same thing?" Ali shook his head. "No." He pointed at Bruce. "We just want to confuse each other." Bruce smiled. "That's part of fighting." Ali nodded. "Exactly." Carson wasn't satisfied. He had one final weapon. The question everybody had been waiting for. He looked directly at Bruce. "Forget the rules." Then at Ali. "Forget the ring." Then back at Bruce. "Forget boxing." The studio became silent. "Forget kung fu." Carson leaned forward. "Just two men." He paused. "Who wins?" Nobody laughed. Nobody moved. Ali looked at Bruce. Bruce looked at Ali. And this time, Bruce didn't answer immediately. The silence lasted several seconds. Then Bruce finally said, "Muhammad Ali is a better boxer than I am." The audience reacted. Ali nodded. Bruce continued, "I've never pretended otherwise." Carson asked, "Then does Ali win?" Bruce shook his head. "No." Carson looked confused. "Why not?" Bruce smiled. "Because you changed the question." The audience erupted. Carson laughed. Ali smiled. Bruce continued, "You asked who is the better boxer." He looked at Ali. "The answer is Muhammad Ali." Then he looked back at Carson. "But you asked who wins a fight." A pause. "And those are not necessarily the same thing." Silence. Ali slowly nodded. Carson leaned closer. "So what's your answer?" Bruce looked at Ali and said, "I don't know." The audience gasped. Ali smiled. Carson looked stunned. "You don't know?" Bruce shook his head. "No." He paused. "And neither does he." Ali laughed. "That's true." Bruce continued. "And that's why you should never be too confident about a fight you haven't fought." Ali nodded. Then he leaned toward the microphone. Now that's something I agree with. Carson looked at Ali. Would you really fight him? Ali smiled. You keep asking that question. Carson laughed. Because I want an answer. Ali pointed toward Bruce. Ask him. Carson looked at Bruce. Bruce smiled. Would you? Bruce looked at Ali. Then said, if he wanted to test himself. He paused. I'd accept. The audience erupted. Ali leaned back. That's all I needed to hear. Carson stared at both men. Wait. He looked at Ali. Are you actually challenging Bruce Lee? Ali smiled. Johnny. He shook his head. I don't need to challenge him. He pointed toward Bruce. He already knows where I stand. Bruce nodded. Ali continued. And I know where he stands. Carson asked. Where? Ali looked at Bruce. Then said, right here. He pointed between them. The audience applauded. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then Ali stood up. Bruce stood too. The audience began cheering. Ali extended his hand. Bruce took it. Two completely different worlds. One boxer. One martial artist. One heavyweight champion. One man who had transformed martial arts forever. And for a few seconds, they simply stood there. No competition. No argument. No need to prove anything. Ali looked at Bruce. Then said quietly, I respect you. Bruce nodded. I respect you too. The audience erupted. But Carson wasn't finished. He leaned toward his microphone. Ladies and gentlemen. The audience quieted. I think we have a problem. Ali laughed. Carson continued. Because I asked these two men which one would win. He looked at Bruce. And Bruce refused to answer. Then he looked at Ali. And Ali refused to answer. The audience laughed. Carson shook his head. So after all this, he paused. We still don't know. Ali smiled. Bruce smiled. Carson looked into the camera. Lord. He paused. Maybe we just learned something more interesting. The audience became quiet. Carson continued. Maybe the greatest fighters don't need to prove who is better. The crowd applauded. But Bruce suddenly leaned toward the microphone. Johnny. Carson looked at him. Yes. Bruce smiled. You forgot something. Carson raised his eyebrows. What? Bruce looked toward Ali. Then back at Carson. You asked us who would win. He paused. But you never asked. Another pause. Who would learn more? Ali's expression changed. The audience became silent. Bruce continued. Because if two people like us fought. He looked at Ali. Neither one would leave the same person who entered. Ali nodded slowly. Then smiled. That's right. The audience applauded. Carson sat back. For the first time that night, he seemed genuinely impressed. Because the answer had never been about strength. It had never really been about boxing versus kung fu. It had been about two men who understood something most people never do. A real fighter doesn't become great simply because he knows how to attack. He becomes great because he knows how to adapt. Muhammad Ali had mastered adaptation inside the ring. Bruce Lee had built his philosophy around it. Different paths. Same principle. Never become trapped by your own style. Never assume the opponent will give you the fight you want. Never confuse confidence with certainty. And perhaps that was why they respected each other. Ali didn't see Bruce as a smaller man. Bruce didn't see Ali as merely a boxer. They saw something deeper. A fellow student of combat. A man who had spent years pushing himself beyond what other people believed was possible. Carson looked at Ali one final time. If you could give Bruce one piece of advice before fighting him. Ali smiled. I'd tell him something simple. Bruce waited. Ali leaned toward him. Don't blink. The audience exploded. Bruce laughed. Then he answered. If I give you advice. Ali smiled. What? Bruce said. Don't assume I'm where you last saw me. The audience went wild. Ali laughed. He shook his head. You see. He looked at Carson. This is why I like him. Carson smiled. And this is why I don't want to be anywhere near the two of you if the lights go out. The studio erupted. Then Carson delivered the final question. The one that would stay with the audience long after the cameras stopped. He looked at Bruce. Last chance. Bruce waited. Who is the better fighter? Bruce looked at Ali. Long pause. Then, ask him. The audience laughed. Carson turned toward Ali. Mohammed. Ali looked at Bruce. He smiled. Then said, ask him. The studio exploded. Carson threw his hands into the air. That's it. The audience laughed and applauded. But before the segment ended, Ali reached across the desk and shook Bruce's hand one more time. This time there was no joke. No performance. Just respect. And as the cameras slowly pulled back, Johnny Carson looked at both men. Then into the camera. Ladies and gentlemen. He paused. Tonight we came looking for a winner. Another pause. I think we found something better. The audience applauded. The camera moved toward Bruce. Then Ali. Two legends. Two completely different philosophies. Two men who could have spent the entire night arguing about who was stronger. Instead, they left the audience with a question that could never truly be answered. Because the fight never happened. There was no bell. No first round. No knockout. No referee raising one man's hand. History never gave us the answer. And perhaps that is exactly why people still imagine it. Because sometimes the most powerful fights are the ones the world never gets to see. Years would pass. The lights would go out. The cameras would stop rolling. The audience would go home. But the question would survive. Boxing against martial arts. Power against speed. Rhythm against unpredictability. Muhammad Ali against Bruce Lee. Who wins? Maybe Ali. Maybe Bruce. Maybe the answer changes depending on the rules. But one thing remains certain. Both men understood that the greatest opponent isn't always the man standing across from you. Sometimes, it's the limits you place on yourself. Ali refused to accept the limits people placed on him. Bruce refused to accept the limits people placed on martial arts. And when those two philosophies collided, even without a single punch being thrown, something remarkable happened. They recognized each other. Two men from completely different worlds. Two legends. Two fighters. And for one unforgettable imagined night, they stood across from each other under the brightest lights in America. Not as enemies, but as equals. The world never saw the fight. But perhaps the world didn't need to. Because the question itself became the legend. What would happen if Muhammad Ali fought Bruce Lee? Nobody knows. And nobody ever will. But maybe that's why the question never dies. Because some battles are not meant to have an ending. Some battles are meant to live forever, inside the imagination of everyone who ever loved the art of fighting. And somewhere, beneath the applause and the studio lights, two legends had already given the world the only answer that really mattered. Respect the opponent. Respect the unknown. And never assume you know how the fight will end until the first move has been made.